Welcome to the only game where you can ruin you and your friend's life. It's 57 degrees north. Standard mode, damn it.
Rock! Sasha yelled from the front of the small boat. From the tiller, Caleb squinted against the stinging rain as he tried to decipher the abstract shapes floating past them in the darkness. A sudden flash of lightning revealed a huge stone column jutting out of the rough sea directly ahead.
Okay, now as you can see, I have two options. I can either turn the boat, or I can stop the boat. Oh, I think we're definitely going with turn.
Pulled the tiller to avoid a collision, steering them towards what he hoped was the main channel. Alaska's inside passage was a labyrinth of islands, and he honestly had no idea where they were. A sudden jolt knocked them both off their feet. The motor screamed in protest as the propeller caught against a boulder beneath the waterline, and the boat lurched to a stop.
These two people in the story are literally having the worst time of all. All thanks to me, of course.
Caleb cut the engine, plunging them into an eerie silence. The boat bobbed awkwardly as the back remained hung up on the rocks. Distinct sound of waves crashing against rocks. It was coming from all around them.
Continue, because that's the only thing I can do.
A large swell washed under them, lifting the boat as it passed. It wasn't enough to dislodge them, but the boat came down hard with a...
Write it out or push...
They braced themselves as the wave hit. The sheer force of the wave slammed him against the wall before washing him over the railing.
Now I have to say something in order to avoid getting copyright.
Any pain that Caleb felt paled in comparison to the sudden immersion in icy water. Caleb's head rang as he came up, gasping for air. It was at least 5 times further, but it was in the direction of the current.
5 times further. That's the thought of things I like to hear.
Caleb forced his trembling limbs in the direction of the shore, but as he got close, he could tell that the waves crashing against the rocks were much larger and more violent than he had thought. He felt himself dropping down and touched bottom.
Love how they say in the story that it's touching bottom, even though the person is still trying to swim on the top of the wave and he's failing.
For a moment, Sasha considered going after Caleb, but she knew that if she left the boat, they'd probably both drown. She tried to push the thought aside and turn her attention to her own problems.
Yeah, that's right, just don't think about him. We'll come back to him later.
She pulled the anchor from beneath the seat. It was surprisingly light, perfect for what she had in mind. As the boat drifted past a craggy rock outcropping, she wound up and threw it as hard as she could.
Alright, let's see where that gets us.
The anchor sailed over the target, but the rope fell into a vertical crack in the rock. The boat spun around as the anchor set like a grappling hook.
I understand that I must now look for Caleb as there is no other option for me.
Sasha scanned the waves for any sign of Caleb. Exhaustion finally took hold, and she collapsed into the boat. She had no idea where she was or if Caleb was even alive. A restless sleep.
Oh, I love how this character is having a problem with herself, and we still haven't even found Caleb yet.
Sasha's eyes opened reluctantly. The storm had passed.
I suppose we're still looking for Caleb, huh?
She found Caleb lying prone near the rocks. Somehow he was still alive, but cold to the touch and shaking uncontrollably. Sasha ran to the boat and pulled their phones out of a waterproof compartment. Both of them still worked, but couldn't find a signal.
Build a fire.
Sasha gathered some fallen branches from the tree line. They were soaking wet, but some gasoline from the boat helped get them burning.
Some gasoline from the boat, eh? You don't say. Sounds like it's about to get a lot more gasoline when this story's over.
Hypothermia, observed Sasha. We need to get you moving.
Oh no, we don't. Inspect boat.
Sasha had drugged the boat far enough up the sand to see that the motor was flooded with water after being submerged overnight.
I like how they replaced dragged with shrugged, because this person is literally having to shrug around the screen the entire time she's dragging the boat.
By steep cliffs, so they made their way up to the tree line, which rose more gradually in each direction.
Yeah, that's right. My steep cliffs.
What's that? Asked Caleb, pointing at one of the pines. Halfway up the trunk, a small security camera was attached to what looked like a tiny satellite dish.
I love that there's a security camera out in the middle of nowhere, and these two people are just like so frightened of it that they don't even want to do anything about it.
Sasha waved her arms. "Hello?" she shouted. "We need help!" The camera gave no indication it was even working. "There's no speaker," Caleb told her. Even if someone is watching, they can't respond.
I like how the girl to the left is like, hello, and the guy to the right is literally so angry. He's just about to punch the security camera in the face.
They followed the tree line as it rose to the top of a steep cliff.
Oh boy, all I can see is fog and clouds.
Other than a few distant islands and a coastline at least 20 miles away, it was ocean as far as the eye could see.
Ocean as far as the eye can see. Okay, that sounds pretty ideal.
Recognize anything, Sasha noted. Me either, Caleb shrugged.
Yeah, that's right. Neither of you remember anything because of what I put you through in this freaking island. And you're going to suffer the whole rest of the way too.
Sasha pulled out her phone. Even without a signal, the GPS worked. But the map required a connection to download details. The blue dot just showed that they were in the middle of the ocean off the southeast coast of Alaska.
Good, because that's would be exactly the way I wanted to design it. Alright, this is probably the wrong choice, but come on guys. You know what we've been doing this entire...
They were able to follow the edge of the cliff a good ways further before it abruptly fell off into a ravine. Are you sure that's a good idea? Sasha asked.
Oh my god! Break padlock or don't break padlock? Oh, you know we're all going with break padlock.
Caleb brought the rock down hard and the padlock snapped open.
Looks like it's just a bunch of computers and random to me.
Caleb closed the door and hung the broken lock back in place. But the large gash on the metal case was impossible to hide.
Good. I'm glad it was impossible to hide.
By the time they got back to the beach, Caleb was stumbling and the fire had almost died out. What? Sasha tossed a few more branches on to get it going again. She had hoped that the smoke would attract help, but if they were on the outside of the passage, it would be the last place a search party would look. In the state Caleb was in, they couldn't wait that long.
Oh my god!
They followed the coast in the other direction.
Did they just say almost died out? Well, this story got a lot worse than I thought it could.
Station 57 had no password and no internet access.
Yeah, that's right. We're all just here to abandon each other. And get lost.
27%, she shouted. Hear a response. Caleb?
The emotion of this person fits the story perfectly. She looks so worried about what's going to happen next, and that's because it's really going to be bad.
Hello? Caleb called out as they searched the buildings. There were no signs of life, but what sounded like a distant voice was just audible over the sound of the wind. As they approached the largest building, they could finally make out what the voice was saying. Sasha, Caleb. They both froze in their tracks. Who's there? Sasha shouted.
Nobody, just pain, torture, and Satan telling you that this is going to be a long journey.
I'm inside, Wilson said. Sasha followed reluctantly as Caleb walked up to the building. She took a deep breath and steeled her courage as he pushed open the door.
Okay, I actually just found out it was a robot and not what I thought it was. Anyways, guys, let's see what happens next.
It took a few seconds for their eyes to adjust to the relative darkness of the small room. Welcome to Station 57, Wilson said.
Station 57. More like Station Hell.
The odd sound of Wilson's voice was because he wasn't real.
Oh, I guess we've just realized that now, huh?
Caleb began to type his question, but Wilson interrupted.
Alright, the question is, how the hell do we get off this island?
Would you like more information on my specifications?
Yes, please, or no thanks. Oh, we're going with no thanks.
Sasha didn't have the energy to get into a lengthy discussion with a computer program. You said you could get us off the island? Yes. You must leave before the eruption. Current estimates say it will begin in approximately 5 hours.
Oh god, sounds like fun.
Eruption, they both exclaimed. The island is volcanic.
Way to state the obvious, computer.
How do you know when it will happen? Sasha asked. My machine learning algorithm was trained by analyzing seismic data from hundreds of eruption events.
I like that person's reaction. It's like the moment you don't trust the robot, everyone just gives up on you.
The exact timing is impossible to predict, but the rate of acceleration is consistent with data 5 hours prior to many of the other eruptions.
The rate of acceleration is that.
Can't you call for help?
This robot is slowly trying to take over the world.
You can restore the connection, but help will not arrive before the eruption.
Help will not arrive before the eruption. Yep, sounds like a typical thing that an AI robot would probably say.
Where's the satellite? About halfway up the mountain. I can help you both, but you'll need to copy me to your phones.
Tips to survive hell, and it's on your phones if you ever...
Voice came from her tiny speaker. Hello, from Sasha's phone. Are you there, Caleb?
Now my game's starting to lag.
I need to save my battery to make contact once we get off the island.
Oh, it's perfect.
I don't have enough room, Caleb lied. Then delete some pictures, Sasha scolded.
I like that person's reaction.
Are less than 50%.
Like the moment you don't trust the robot, everyone just gives up on you.
Caleb hit trust, and Wilson's voice called out, Testing, 1, 2, 3. Installation confirmed.
Or is it?
I won't have access to the seismometers or cameras, and your phones still won't be able to communicate with each other.
Huh, so it sounds like you just gave me hell in a handbasket. Lovely.
All right, let's go.
Well, I played 57 Degrees North, and the only thing I learned is that making bad decisions is always the right thing to do. Anyways, guys, till next time, stay foxy and happy Valentine's Day.